get you in the mood, that music does. Welcome to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has the day off. I don't think I promised I behave this time, but I'm just going to be me. One of our favorite people joins us as our special guest co-host today, Elliott Morgan, the doctor,
Sharon.
the good doctor.
Thank you. So close.
Yeah.
Getting there.
You're
One
close.
day.
I said it's done. Okay. You don't
I
even
know.
have to show up. I don't know if you have to turn something in and this and that, and somebody checks it and then you argue it. We're done with that.
Thank you so much. I'm going to let them know
That's
that
right.
you said that. I think they
Let
should
them
be good
know.
after that.
You can give them my number too. Okay. I said what I said. What do you say we get after it, Elliott? Because it's a big news day today. We actually begin with tomfoolery. But if you got this kind of note at your doorstep, what would you think? What would you do? Pro-ICE influencer shows up at a journalist's door, threatening them. Watch this.
Andrew, your video, it was cute. However, the team of Punishers, we got your address. We know who you are. Watch your mouth. You hear me? Watch your mouth. Commies, stand down. We've broken your signal groups. We've hacked your sites. You dumb vibe coded out a site that should have been locked down. And Andrew, watch your mouth, boy. Wipe your paws off.
Misinformation comes with consequences.
So dumb enough to record the threat. It's on camera right there. I should have a headline that says arrested, but let's see what happened. White supremacists, emboldened as ever, about to show you, more about this right-wing pro-ICE provocateur threatening a Minneapolis reporter right outside of his apartment. This is 29-year-old Jaden Scott outside Minneapolis, the journalist Andrew Mercado's apartment. Not invited, just doing what they do. It's interesting because all some people know is threats. Instead of, I don't know, you're a journalist, use your words. Let's give you more. Andrew Mercado posted the video with a caption saying this: Jaden Scott and unknown accomplices have found where I live and posted a video online outside of my door. I have my apartment management and local police involved. Good. I will obviously have to move, so the more people that are aware of the situation, the better. The guy's already in legal trouble, and this stunt could prevent them from inflicting further pain on the city of Minneapolis. Share it far and wide. That's what we're doing today on Indisputable, because it's reprehensible. What happened here is reprehensible. And as we said, the word is emboldened. Could care less. Going to do what they want to do. We'll see. If this provocateur looks familiar to you, this is why. What?
We have devolved from fifth generation warfare. As of last night, we have found out that these men are fighting an insurgency. They've bitten the hands off DHS. They've attacked our Patriot Crusaders, Cam Higbee, and we still have been running counter intel. I'm here, boots on ground in my bunker. This is a goddamn Marxist insurgency, and it will be dealt with like such. Crusaders, DM me. Let's go to war.
The storm is here. When we come, one, we go all. No one can stop what is coming. Get here, guys. We need you in Minnesota. These people are terrorists. And all you liberal commie keep your hands to yourself, or you're gonna get hurt today, all right? We executed one of you yesterday.
Very loud voice of a very disturbed man. Very disturbed. Why and how do they pick their targets? Well, Mercado shares why he thinks he was targeted, and here it is. All I did is post the video he made, Mercado said, referring to Scott's social post in which he's dressed in a tactical vest, holding an American flag, saying, "We are now fighting an insurgency," and heading to Minneapolis to, quote, restore law and order. Mercado also admitted that he mocked Scott with nicknames such as Emu Punisher. I don't have a problem with it. Joe Nelson, bring me the news, contributing to the reporting. Now, Jaden Scott might have bigger things to worry about. We want you to know that. At a December hearing, Scott was found in criminal contempt of court for failing to appear because he doesn't want to pay his child support. You're out here talking about what you're going to do, pushing back and all this fighting, and you can't even pay for your own kid? Yeah. At the same December hearing, Bay County Circuit Judge, yes, he would, ordered Scott to pay. I bet he owes a lot. Oh, $841 for his child's dental care, along with $750 in attorney's fees, $12,653 in child support arrearage to be paid over 2 installments by the end of the month. He should be working, not harassing a reporter. She further suspended his parenting time until he has served his jail time. And that's key. The judge, I don't think it has anything to do with the child support. It's just a way for the judge to protect the child from a father who is unhinged and a danger, perhaps, to others. He has served a 7-day sentence for failing to show for a hearing. He might have been too busy agitating protesters in Minnesota. Look, Elliott, as you and I both know, and I think, well, I know we both support First Amendment, and people have a right to their opinions. They have a right to use their voices. They have a right to disagree with things, even laws. Okay, there's ways to handle that too. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, I think even provocateur is a word that's not dirty enough for the actions here. We're talking about somebody who's, I believe, a threat. And now a reporter has to move. What should happen?
I mean, I think making fun of these people is probably the first thing you should do. I think calling them a Timu Punisher is a pretty good start, because I don't think they should be taken seriously in any way, despite the fact that they do make threats like this that are dangerous. The threat should be taken seriously. I think them as people shouldn't be, which is why I actually have, if you don't mind, I've been dressing up in a similar
Oh my goodness.
way.
Oh
Is
my
that
goodness.
is this cool? Because I
It's
thought he
uncanny.
looked really tough, right? It looks really pretty much hard. I'm also impressed by the cloning technology that they have now for Tim Pool. I
Oh
think
my
if they make
goodness.
a few more tweaks, it'll go really well. I don't have my American flag, but does this look tough? Do I look like I'm gonna?
Well, it looks like normally I would say, don't you dare leave the house that way.
Okay, good
But
call.
given the current state of our democracy, air quotes, I think you'll find some family on the outside of that door. We'll say, oh, there's our brother.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
It feels good to be back. I think when you have a bunch of young men that are raised with a very narrow view of masculinity, this is what you're going to get. And it's kind of sad to see. But yeah, I wish these guys the best that are having to deal with these. And when you have like some, one at the top of the power echelon in this nation, I don't necessarily believe in trickle down economics, but I do believe in trickle down decorum. And this is what you're going to end up getting when you have agents that have no accountability, a president with no accountability. You're eventually going to have citizens who act like they have no accountability.
Yeah, this fake bravado, this insecurity that you've spoken of, I think is it's the key to everything. It's the key to a lot. This wanting to have a sense of belonging to trash behavior and threatening others, but still small enough that you can't even pay for your own child. And look, sometimes people, fall on hard times, can't pay what they owe, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who has a lot of time in his hands to try to hurt someone else, okay? Threaten them, show up, scare them. So yeah, thank you, Judge. Thank you. And as we move on to this next one, I want to say thank you again. I like strong judges. I don't like weak ones who just status quo. Follow the law. Follow the law. Call it out. Do everything that's within your powers to right wrongs. I mean, that's what judges are supposed to do. Minnesota federal judge issues major court order against ICE agents. There's the silver-haired judge. Minnesota chief federal judge Patrick Schlitz issued a scathing court order to Trump's immigration forces. He's expressed that, quote, the court's patience is at an end for constitutional violations. And when I look at his picture, I believe him. That's not the judge I want to stand before and hear him say the court's patience is at an end. because he's not just going to say it, he's going to do something about it. So thank you, Judge. Temporary win for the Trump administration is inside this court order, though. The contempt hearing ICE Director Todd Lyons was obligated to show up for tomorrow has since been canceled. Why? Why? I want him to answer every single time. Here's what the order contained. In the order, Schlitz noted 96 instances in which ICE had violated a court order. ICE has likely violated more court orders in January 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. That's what Judge Schlitz wrote. Court warns ICE future noncompliance with court orders may result in future show cause orders requiring the personal appearances of Lyons or other government officials. ICE is not a law unto itself. It feels that way. Now, I have to pause there and get your input, Elliott, before we give the rest. I'm not a judge. I'm just a big mouth who spouts off here. I enjoy it, and that's my right. And we have a great family here. But I don't know why, given what the judge said here, they'd get another chance at all. Why do they get another chance? Would I get another chance?
Yeah, you could say that there's a little bit of a double standard going on, and it's incredibly frustrating to watch. It's also frustrating when you have these, like, I don't want to say lone wolf, but they definitely seem to be acting in solitude judges who say the right thing, actually follow the law. But if they don't do it in the way that these folks think they should, then all of a sudden, I guess they're one of the bad ones. And so I don't think there's any real consistency on their part. And I also think that at some point, people are going to continue to get fed up to the point where action gets taken, because we're not seeing any ramifications from these people's actions, and we're seeing them act brazenly against the law constantly. And so I don't know how you can continue doing that and think people aren't eventually going to say enough is enough.
I agree. Politico helping in the reporting here, so let's give you more. Schlitz's initial order came in the case of an Ecuadorian man, Juan Tobe Robles, who was released from ICE detention, the judge ordered earlier this month. Schlitz lit into the agency for violating the order after officials failed to release the man for days despite the court's directive. But on Wednesday, Robles' attorney confirmed his client had been released, mooting the need for Friday's hearing. See, I say you have it anyway. You're already wasting the taxpayers' money with your unlawful behavior, but let's just do it. The attorney, Graham Ohala Barbour, said despite the cancellation, he would welcome another opportunity to seek accountability for ICE. Fox News dug up Schlitz's prior donations to find a conflict of interest. Now you want to do reporting? Schlitz told Fox News Digital in a statement he has, quote, donated for many years to the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. I've also donated for many years to Mid-Minnesota Legal Aid. I believe that poor people should be able to get legal representation, Schlitz said. What's controversial about that? In a petty back and forth on X over the matter, DOJ top civil rights attorney struck down on legal expert Ed Whelan his original post. A judge may contribute financially to legal service associations that provide counsel for the poor. A judge need not recuse merely because lawyers who accept appointments by such associations are also counsel of record in cases before that judge. Federal appellate judge informs me that that's the official advice the federal judges set forth in a non-public compendium of selected opinion. So then it says, and I'm not going to go through all of this, but update Judge Schlitz's statement to Fox News where he says that. And then, Ed, do you have any clients? You actually practice law in court? Serious question related to this post. Let's not forget last month's meltdown where she called MAGA influencers hoes. Is this what we're doing? Hoes for criticizing Pam Bondi. And now I'm thinking to myself, Elliott, remember when Carolyn Levitt or another staffer, I shouldn't have said Carolyn Levitt, someone in the Trump administration, a spokesperson said, your mom to a reporter who was just doing their job, just asking, it's just a question. Like, you're the communications person. I'm asking a question, proper. Your mom in a conversation that wasn't even off the record. And now we have hoes. You're a hoe this, hoe that. How do we take these people seriously? Well, we have to, because they're wreaking havoc for every single American. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think this goes back to that trickle down decorum idea. I mean, we had a president just recently who I think said quiet piggy to someone. So I think that is up there. And then most recently, someone from ABC asked him a question and he just deflected and started saying, well, actually, ABC is fake news and this person's never asked me a good question. So it's a really good strategy, especially for people that are already on your side, because you can just completely avoid having to answer any questions by going for these really gross, low-level ad hominem attacks. So I think their base eats it up. So it seems to be an effective strategy, at least culturally. Legally, however, I think it might be a slightly different matter.
Yeah. And to the judge, well, we already answered the part about giving them another chance. And who am I to second guess a judge who did say something pretty compelling on the record, documenting history that is often certain people want to erase. But to all of those who are illegally detained, I don't know if it helps to let them off the hook even one time. I'll give you the last word.
I think you're 100% right. I think we're in pretty much exact agreement. And I recall at one point, this judge or one of the judges mentioned that ICE has defied more court orders than potentially any agency in its own history just in the past year. So I think that this is a systemic issue that needs more attention.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And can you imagine if it would have never happened? I would have loved it though. If I were standing at the podium as the press secretary for then, I don't know, President Obama, let's say, and I was asked a question and my response was, please, it's so ridiculous that this is where we are. We're not talking about some podunk town, and I wouldn't accept it there either. But we're talking about a Department of Justice official calling people who don't agree with Pam Bondi, who is also acting outside of the law. Didn't she defy a subpoena from Congress? Or they wouldn't even do it. I can't remember which it is. Hoes. Hoes. God bless America, if you believe. This is what we're doing. Let's move on, because this is one of the most celebrated entertainers in all of rap music. And, well, she's a fool. Nicki Minaj is a fool. But let's try to figure out why she's doing it. Minaj sells out to Trump for fast-tracked citizenship. Here's Nicki Minaj kissing up to Donald Trump during a Treasury event.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him.
I actually don't want to interview her, but if I did, it might be question number one would be, well, tell me about the detailed policies that you most support from the president, because I know you're his #1 fan. And then I would just sit there and just let her go, and that's it. But you didn't answer the question. Which of his policies do you like the best? A fool. Okay, so the rapper Nicki Minaj posted a photo of President Donald Trump's gold car on Wednesday, suggesting she may have purchased the car that provides fast-track U.S. citizenship after she appeared alongside the president earlier in the day to promote his Trump accounts. They look good together. I will say that. They look good together if you are promoting evil and a lack of integrity. The Trinidad-born artist who revealed in 2018 that she was brought into the country as a, quote, illegal immigrant at a young age, posted an image on X of the card, which is reportedly priced at $1 million, captioning it simply, well, moments later she added, residency. The cope is coping. Before finalizing that citizenship paperwork as we speak, as per my wonderful, gracious, charming president. Trump card promoted by the Trump administration as a pathway for wealthy foreign nationals, grants immediate eligibility for permanent residency and the chance to apply for citizenship after 5 years. Minaj, however, hinted that she did not pay the fee. We know that. Potential cardholders have to submit an application for the $1 million card, have a background check run on them by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Applicants are also required to attend a visa interview and submit any additional documents needed by the government. In addition to the $1 million gift to the Treasury, individuals may also pay small additional fees to the U.S. Department of State, depending on their circumstances, according to the Gold Card website. Forbes giving us some of the details here. Trump Platinum Card will also be available. That's coming at a later date for applicants who have to shell out a $5 million contribution to be able to spend up to 270 days in the U.S. without being subject to taxes on non-U.S. income. Once granted, cardholder receives lawful permanent resident status as an EB1 or EB2 visa holder. That's according to the TrumpCard.gov website. Portion of Minaj's fan base has expressed frustration with the rapper after she spoke at a Turning Point USA event in December alongside the CEO, Erica Kirk. Minaj spoke about her Christian faith during the appearance. She received backlash when she said, boys be boys. It's okay, be boys. There's nothing wrong with being a boy, which critics characterized as anti-trans rhetoric. Minaj was considered an ally of the LGBTQ plus community for the majority of her career and was also a vocal critic of Trump's immigration policies during his first term. Rapper called out separation of families at the U.S.-Mexico border in 2018, saying this is so scary to me, before recalling her time living in the country illegally as a child. So you have to be careful with not just celebrities, but anyone, I guess, who jumps on the bandwagon, particularly when real people, real lives, real emotions, life and death are on the menu. Who's the real Nicki Minaj? The one who said that in 2018, the one who supported the LGBTQ plus community? Or this version who talks about being the number one fan of Donald Trump as people are deported, separated, and killed? Which is the real Nicki? Please stand up. Elliott, your reaction to Nicki being Nicki? She keeps on going.
Yeah. I mean, for one, I'm not have a huge opinion on Nicki Minaj, except I really do love that Monster song, and I don't think I'm going to be able to enjoy it as much anymore because it seems like everybody on that song has been having a real hard time for the past couple of years. I also think they did her kind of dirty with that microphone placement during that speech. I don't know how seriously you can take someone when the mic is just directly like that. I don't know why Kevin O'Leary seems to be everywhere, so the whole situation is very confusing. But I also think the whole premise of being able to just get a bunch of money and then get some sort of card that suddenly makes you legal, I think it should tell people something about what the real motivations are behind this administration. When they're talking about, hey, we just want you to come here legally, it also seems like maybe they just don't want you to be poor. And if you have enough money, you can sort of bypass all of this stuff. And I think there's something really gross and kind of inconsistent about that.
Yeah. I find her to be a disgrace.
Yeah.
The things that she's up to, even attacking Don Lemon, who can take care of himself. Little Kim, come back, please. I want Little Kim to put something fresh out, and let's get into it. Let's have this be the rap battle of 2026. Let's put her down all the way down. Okay. But the other thing is, these dumb policies that only are about money and hurting Black and brown people make America so poor. You know, there's going to be people who have a cure for cancer, other ailments on the other side of the border wanting to get in, and they may not have that platinum, which is coming, or gold card money to expedite. It's just going to hurt all of us. And I don't even think that's where your heart should lie. I think there's another gut check, another moral authority you should have. But I'm just saying, since they don't really have that going for them, just maybe rethink some of this and what you're doing to the country that you claim is yours and that you love more than anyone else. You act like you hate it. I'll give you the last word, Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I saw a recent report. I think that in the past year, we've also lost just a number of scientists. I want to say it was something around like 10,000 of, our top minds. There's a brain drain that's happening already with this administration. So making it harder and harder for people to become citizens, which has been going on, since basically throughout our entire country's history, it's going to backfire ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're going places like, you can't even say that Canada and these other countries are that brilliant, but they're doing things like, hey, if they don't want you, we do.
Yep.
Come on down. We love you up here. So there. But at least we have one soon-to-be doctor who I think you're staying in the country. Are you in the country right now?
Oh, I'm in the country. I am not leaving. I'm going down with this ship.
Thank you. Thank goodness. Elliott Morgan's our special guest co-host today. I'm Sharon Reed, in for Dr. Richie. This is Indisputable. We hope you will stay with us. Some of your comments coming up.
I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your goddamn religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care. I don't believe in it. And I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
No part of Gaza has been left unscathed. Ain't a whole lot left. I don't know why they need any more bombs. Let us be clear. The United States provided $18 billion in military aid to Israel. Netanyahu, indiscriminate bombardment, have killed more than 50,000 civilians, 60% of whom are women, children, paramedics, and journalists. All of this is against basic human decency. You don't starve children with absolutely no humanitarian aid getting into Gaza. It is a war crime. It is illegal for the United States government to provide Israel with more offensive weapons. History will not forgive us.
We've been on our phones too much. I feel like we just need to touch grass or something.
I told you. I mean, you know what? Let's actually do it. Let's touch the grass. Whoa. Andrew Yang? It's not racist, right? It's him.
Yes, it is I, Andrew Yang, out here giving money away as usual.
Wait, but literally?
Do you use a phone? Noble Mobile will cut your wireless bill in half every month, and you get paid even more if you log off, look up, and touch grass.
Oh, I actually have some grass if you...
I don't think that's the kind of grass.
Not that kind of grass, unfortunately.
Whoa, wait, what the...
Whoa.
I guess that kind of grass works too. All grass works.
All grass and we get cash?
Wait, did you see that, babe?
Noble mobile, make it rain, girl, make it rain, make it. That didn't rain so good, but now it's raining good.
Corruption, injustice, the system is rigged against you. Every day we're blasted by a flurry of terrible news from every angle, which can make it challenging to stay positive and know how to fight back. The Damage Report is your solution. I'm Johnny DeRola, and my daily morning show cuts through the noise and exposes the real damage being done to our country, the world, and how we can fight back against it. Corporate greed crushing workers? We'll name names. Politicians selling you out for their corporate overlords? We've got the receipts. Climate disaster, economic collapse, the rise of fascism. No spin, no establishment talking points, just the truth that you need to survive and resist. But it's not all doom and gloom. We'd love to have you join the Dragon Squad, our community of positive-minded activists who turn the day's news into positive action. With new episodes every weekday, listen to The Damage Report to get honest news, unflinching commentary, and daring coverage you won't find anywhere else. Listen to The Damage Report on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, because understanding the damage is the first step.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, Sharon Reed, Elliott Morgan. Just holding down the fort today. Let's get to some of your comments. DB Hawk 3, appreciate your contribution. And refers, this comment does, to the Minnesota Judge Schlitz. You do enjoy, and I did too, the scolding of ICE because that was warranted. Oh, Akazita. This one's for you, Elliott. Cite Sharon in your thesis. I wouldn't do that if I were you. You're not going to get a good grade or pass. I don't know how it works.
Oh,
but I don't know that you should be citing me.
No, I'm putting you as the author. I'm just congratulations on all the work you've done. You deserve it.
And I wonder if do I get anything for that? Or am I then a doctor too? Honorary or something. Well, I don't mind that at all. I don't want to steal your work. Maybe just put me as co. I could be co. Right? Deal. Because we spent a lot of time together. And I'd like to think that maybe some of what I've said here, you supported maybe 5% of my positions. And perhaps
95, 98.
There it is. Some of that must have ended up in dissertation. What is it?
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Is that what it is?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome at any time. I'm happy to do it for you. I'll do it again. You just call me. Okay. Night Eater, this has to refer to Nicki Minaj and that stupid picture with the president. Her face, LMAO, she trying not to breathe. Because, there's a perpetual rumor. And I don't know, maybe it's been confirmed that he doesn't smell great. And so I think you could be right, Night Eater. Or maybe she just has that kind of face. She's trying to get her husband pardoned. Y'all mad at that? Yeah, in her case, yeah, but I think that's a state crime and that's not necessarily true, Genocide TV. So I don't think you're correct there. She wants that citizenship, and so she's going dance, whatever Trump tells her to do. One more, and then we'll get to more of your comments in a little bit. Ronald Fan R3Z, happy Thursday, Indisputable fans. And to you, Sharon and Elliott, I hope you guys are doing awesome. Well, I am, and it looks like Elliott's doing great too. And I love being with him. So I'm going to declare that he's awesome as well. Okay. But now we do want to get to some breaking news. And this is a big one. Sonia Massey's killer has now been sentenced to 20 years. Here's a reminder of the murder case.
Massey starts to set down the pot and apologizes. Grayson fires 3 times, striking her in the face.
Headshot wounded female, 1078.
Prosecutors say Grayson's partner tried to give the 36-year-old first aid, even though Grayson discouraged him.
I'm gonna go get my kit. No, you're done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
difficult to watch, even though we've seen it before. I've seen it several times. Difficult to watch that somebody like that is in uniform, could care less about life. Sean Grayson, former Illinois sheriff's deputy convicted of second-degree murder for the 2024 death of Sonia Massey, sentenced to 20 years in prison Thursday, followed by 2 years of supervised probation. In court, Grayson gave a statement following his defense, for the first time admitting wrongdoing against Massey, 36-year-old Black mother of two who had called 911 about a possible prowler outside her Springfield home. She wanted help, assistance, reassurance. And instead, she was shot dead. No need to get your kit. That was a headshot. Elliott, when I saw the breaking news come across the screen, and this was, waiting for the sentencing today, I said to myself, I'm okay with the 20 years here. Sometimes I don't think they've been charged with enough, but I said to myself, I hope this one gets 20 years because needs to think about it, but it also needs to be a deterrence to others out there. Unfortunately, it's so rare that these kinds of killings are adjudicated in the way that they should be. So who knows about deterrence? But in this instance, I believe whatever justice looks like in America, this time it was served.
Yeah, I would say so. Also, I think that there's, based on everything that's been going on this month alone, there continues to be reports about these agents somehow stalling or not allowing medical care when something like this happens. And I think it's really weird how it just keeps happening over and over again. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's conscious. I don't know if they're panicking in the moment and they want to make sure that, they don't get in any more trouble than they already are. But I'm glad that this guy's going to spend decades in prison. I hope he doesn't get out early. I would have loved for it to have been longer, but at the same time, it's at least something.
Yeah, it's at least something. Not going to bring back this mother of two who, again, they didn't show up supposed to be looking at her. She called them saying, I think there's a prowler outside. And because she wasn't in his view, Mr. Grayson, now convicted Grayson, perfect. He executed her. All right, so I don't know what's wrong with America with everything else going on, that we still have some people who just will not. Well, they want to fight to say that word. That single word is so powerful to them. It has such meaning for them that they just won't stop saying it, no matter the consequence. And I really think people should be able to say what they want, but they should also face whatever consequences that come with it. Because I think accountability is necessary. It's necessary when you're raising a child. It's necessary when you are in a civilized society. You have to be accountable to one another. Of course, there's a segment of our population that doesn't want to be accountable for anything. Anything that they do, they want to blame you for. Particularly if you look, well, if you're of a darker hue, a little bit of tan, a little bit of caramel, latte color, they want to blame you for all of their problems. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
See how you asked us? I will! Okay, go ahead.
I want to know why. When black people are amongst each other, they call each other. When a white person exactly. When a white person says it, it's like, oh my God, it's like an act of something. What is that?
Now, it's that same conversation that starts with, I want to know why black people, okay? And it never ends well. It just does not end well. Don't ask what black people are doing. Figure out where you want to be and then walk through that door and deal with what's on the other side. According to CBS 8 KLAS News, Las Vegas substitute teacher caught using a racial slur in a viral video has been fired now. You're out of here. That's according to the Clark County School District. The incident happened last week at Centennial High School. In an email sent to families, the school's principal, Keith Whipperman, said the school's, quote, #1 priority is providing a safe learning environment for kids. Whipperman said the substitute engaged in a conversation with racial implications that was not conducive to the classroom environment, and added the substitute is no longer an employee of the Clark County School District. But she can say the word if she wants to, Elliott. I mean, I guess maybe it was worth it to her. I don't know why in a setting where when you look at America's youth, and I don't want to condemn the education of all youth in America, but we're behind. We need to catch up. We've got to work on some things. We're banning books. There's so much work to do in that classroom. I don't even like debates. I think debate in a classroom is healthy. I mean, look, you're a scholar. Let me just turn it over to you. Don't you think it's good to debate things and see where young minds end up as they do the exercise? But here it seemed like she just had an agenda, and so she got fired. She's out of there.
Yeah, it seems like there's sort of this breakdown of the barrier between the internet and Facebook and real life happening again, where folks like this are just scrolling. They see something like this in a meme. It gets in their head and they just can't handle it. I've heard it my entire life. It reminds me of, well, there's a BET, there's a black entertainment. Why isn't there, why is it there's a Black History, not a white? It's a very simple binary way of thinking. And I do think you're right. I do think when she asked that, there was a release that she felt because she got to experience saying the dirty word. And now she's getting punished for it. And that's what happens. I think you're right. You have a right to say those words. And you also have a right to be fired.
So that's what happened. Say the word all you want. Maybe she'll continue to say it. Maybe there's, some school district down in Florida that'll be fine with it. I don't know. Okay. But you're not going to work for the Clark County School District anymore. And so you can take that and your word elsewhere. We'll see what happens. Okay. There's more that we want to get to for you. This is, it's a desegregation policy that's being challenged by conservative group. A conservative organization is seeking to overturn a Los Angeles school desegregation policy that has been around since, the 70s? Yeah, the 70s, because they claim white students receive inferior treatment. This organization goes by the name of 1776 Project Foundation. Oh, they've got so much nerve. Look at 1776 Project is specifically going after the LA Unified School District. And here are the details. The suit by the 1776 Project Foundation takes aim at the district's predominantly Hispanic, Black, Asian, or other non-Anglo or PHBAO program. Claims that for students who attend non-PHBAO schools, the district provides inferior treatment and calculated disadvantages. Roughly 70% of LAUSD schools are part of the PHABO program. The suit says the district channels opportunities, preferences, funding, and outreach primarily to specific racial groups, while systematically excluding or failing to allow other students who similarly could benefit from the same favorable academic support. The district is acting illegally under both the California and the federal Constitution, the suit alleges. I'll give you an excerpt from the lawsuit itself. Racial equality is not a novel concept. Whatever obstacles this ideal may have been forced to overcome, it is now firmly rooted in the hearts and minds of most Americans. But not in the Los Angeles Unified School District, the LAUSD or district. Instead, the district engages in and publicly touts a program of overt, discrimination against a new minority. I'm supposed to just quote the suit. White students, they're the minority. And it's not just students of European descent who are the victims of the district's poor treatment. Students of Middle Eastern descent are also part of the disfavored group, as are others who fall on the wrong side of the district's bizarre racial and ethnic line drawing. Suit claims 600 campuses have illegal advantage, while about 100 do not. Lawsuit alleges that students in the targeted schools receive benefits that include smaller class sizes and that they also receive preferential treatment for entry into sought-after magnet programs. Note, magnet schools are special programs designed to promote voluntary integration. Today, magnet programs have become a general recruitment strategy in a school system with declining enrollment. Some magnets are virtually all students of color because few or no white students apply. Magnet funding is mainly spent on providing bus transportation for students to attend these special programs outside their neighborhoods. LA Times with the reporting. In the big picture, the district currently allocates extra resources based mainly on which schools are performing worse on academic measures, not race. Federal funds also typically benefit such schools through Title I funding, which is set aside for schools with high concentrations of poverty. These extra federal resources are not based on race. So let's give you the reality. Los Angeles School District remains among the most segregated in the country. Wide test score gaps between racial groups well short of the ideals that motivated a 1963 desegregation lawsuit and the lengthy legal battle that followed. Like many other districts, Los Angeles never truly integrated its schools. A short-lived mandatory busing program ended in the early 80s. Segregation is in fact worsening for two reasons. The end of court oversight that forced districts to create integrated schools and policies that favor school choice, parental preference. With the federal court system becoming more conservative because of the Trump administration's appointments, it is not clear if the 1776 Project's case will be considered to have any merit. We will just have to wait and see how this one unfolds in court. Well, my mind immediately went to the highest court in the land, Elliott, and I said, well, if Clarence Thomas could get his hands on this, I know what he would do. I know what he would do. Look, it occurs to me that when you're just talking about poverty, and yet a lot of these schools are all black and brown, that might lead you to a different conclusion about what needs to happen here. Instead of suing about the policies that were supposed to say, you know what, we're better off when we can all sit down next to each other and understand we all have something to contribute and learn here. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of, from what I understand at least, of the civil rights movement and the desegregation that happened later. It didn't all happen at once. It didn't happen with the snap of a finger. It was basically put off to the states and states' rights. And throughout that time, a lot of the people protesting the integration would say things like, this is all about parental choice. This is all about making sure that my white student can learn the same stuff. And, I just want to protect him as a parent. And so all of this rhetoric sounds really familiar. And it reminds me a little of how that I think it's Mark Twain, history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And this seems to definitely be rhyming with it. And you're right, this is tied to property rights. Maybe we invest in the schools that aren't doing as well in poorer areas. That seems like a good thing, not, taking money from them instead. But what do I know? I'm not a legal expert for the 1776 Foundation or whatever it's called.
I suspect that you will not be considered for the role. However ambitious you are, it's not really going to be the role for you. And I've often thought about how we can remedy what goes on. It seems to me ridiculous that because you live in a certain area and property taxes are high there and collectible there at a higher rate, the school there is great and you hit the lottery and you get to be there. Well, somebody else who, just decided to breathe this American air is destined to less or nothing. Okay, nothing that's going to amount to the American dream. Why should property taxes have anything to do with it? And if they are, why shouldn't, I'm here in Georgia. State like Georgia should collect the taxes and do whatever. We're taxed to death, but whatever. And then, it would be a novel approach to just meter them out equally. Make sure every school had the same amount. But I'll give you the last word.
Property taxes, that's the right term, not property rights. But yeah, I think you're completely right. And also, there's something about the whole language of like, whoa, there's a new minority in town, okay? And it's the white people. That also sounds really familiar with a lot of the rhetoric that's online about, that great replacement theory. So this whole thing just smells really bad to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it stinks. And it's not rooted in anything that's heartfelt or full of integrity or the love
Cynical.
of children. You don't love children. You don't love white children when you're doing this. You don't. We're better off when we get to see other people as our equals, as human beings, and we get to compete against everyone. That's what brings out the best in America. And that's what gives America heart and soul and empathy and all those other things. But what do I know? This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc is off today. Elliott Morgan is here. That's a treat. Much more to come, including your comments.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Rich and powerful men abusing, assaulting, and abandoning young women. These rich and powerful men donate to the politicians in Washington, D.C., play golf with the elites in Washington, D.C. They are foreign leaders who we don't want to offend. They interact with our intelligence agencies that we don't want to disobey. There is something rotten in Washington.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
All those congressmen you just saw there are on the record as protecting the child rapists who were clients of Epstein. They have not prosecuted a single person outside of Epstein and Maxwell.
Yep.
Not one.
Is Trump engaging in this cover-up because he's in the Epstein files?
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
So as the government keeps telling us, yeah, there's other people. Yeah, they raped those girls. So what? We're gonna cover up for them. But why are you guys so mad?
A nation that chooses impunity for the rich and the powerful at the expense of our children is a nation that has lost its moral purpose. Are you on the side of the people? Are you on the side of America's children? Or are you on the side of the rich and powerful who've had their thumb on the scales and shafted Americans for decades?
The rest of the news media says you should not fight for positive change. If you do, you're not really a reporter or a journalist, because reporters and journalists don't care what happens. I don't agree. That's not written anywhere. That's not a law. It's just a rule that they invented so that reporters didn't actually challenge the people that are in power. Well, we don't agree with that. We think we should challenge the people in power, that actually makes you a better journalist, not a worse one. In a media landscape poisoned by corporate influence, only one show stands apart from the rest, The Young Turks. As the longest running daily news show on the internet, The Young Turks is an impactful voice of unfiltered truth, one you can trust to deliver the daily news with authenticity and honesty. For nearly 2 decades, TYT has been breaking the mold of media. We're not here to echo the powerful or the elite, we're here to challenge them. Our mission is to give you accurate news, fight the establishment, and cover stories that mainstream media keeps you in the dark about, which matter to your everyday life. We've remained a leader in online news because of our established credibility with an engaged audience looking for alternative media that represents the real concerns of everyday Americans. Listen to The Young Turks, a news show that only answers to you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Been on YouTube for 20 years.
The original political partner on YouTube, The Young Turks.
The Young Turks.
The Young Turks.
Godfather of independent media.
Yeah. Favorite news platform by far. Oh, it's not even close.
The Young Turks. It's the largest online news show in the world.
I watched you guys before I had a channel at all.
And I watched Cenk, so Cenk's really the start of it all.
Big shout out to Cenk from Young Turks.
Cenk Uygur, founder of TYT, a man who probably needs no introduction.
Cenk, it's so great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, David.
Fan you worked for a long time, man.
Anna Kasparian is one of the most followed and influential progressive women online.
I love Anna.
Your presence has been essential for me to really grow.
Do all of you know the Young Turks? This is why what Young Turks are doing is so important.
I've watched you for many years. You are insightful. I thank you for that.
I was going to introduce myself, but it sounds like you guys might know us.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has earned some time off. Elliott Morgan is with us as our special guest co-host. I'm Sharon Reed. But you're what's important. The TYT family and your comments. So let's get to more of those. I knew you all would have something to say about that teacher who, out of all the things, needed to ask kids why Black people get to say the N-word and she can't. Guam will capsize dragon, TYT member. We appreciate you. All the mysteries of the universe. And that's what you want to know? Yeah. So she wasn't following any semblance of the curriculum here. And so she got fired. We don't need you to substitute anymore. And mostly, first of all, you're a substitute teacher. Usually kids like that you're, main teacher's out. They can kind of chill. Sometimes they just watch movies. But you had to engage in this little silly discussion. And now you're out of there. You're gone. There it is. Okay, Philando Castile, that one really gets me that the cop got off, says Sea Blue 229. Yeah, and that's the thing. Sonia Massey, this is the story you're referring to. Former Officer Grayson, now convicted and sentenced to 20 years behind bars. So he got the max there for shooting a woman who just, called police because she needed help. And instead they executed her. He did. Philando Castile, boy, there's so many that we can list, but that one really, and just no accountability. Went on to do other things. Defended. Saluted in some circles. So I get it. I definitely get it. Let's give you another one. Snack Panther says, as a parent of a LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District student, and a graduate of LAUSD, this is well, there's a bull emoji and then a poo-poo emoji. So I think we get it. It is. It absolutely is. And these emojis are how I would respond to the suit. That's actually, it would be, is that legal? Would that be a great response? And if I'm, defending the school district and the policies, I think that's all you need to put there. Then we can just head to closing argument. Okay, let's just go straight to closing arguments. One more for you. Snarky Burgess, there's no substitute for stupidity. No, there isn't. And some people are really good at it. They're great at it. In fact, they're masters at it. That's a thesis that perhaps you could write one day, Elliott. I don't know if you want to keep going with this whole scholarly thing, but what is with the expansion of stupidity? And there's so many things you could go down this hole, that one, follow this way, and enlighten all of us. And I think that would be a public service.
It might be a public service. I don't know if it would be read by anybody who's actually the target of it, though. So it might be a bit futile, but it would be fun. And I would definitely read it if somebody else does it. I don't know that it might, rip out my soul for me to do it, but I'm looking forward to whoever tackles it.
And I just think the interviews who would you pick first? Because you have to then, I would think, doing the research, you have to talk to stupid people. Okay. Who take pride in this. We don't want to know. We want to stay ignorant. Okay. Let's get back on track. This is a heartbreaker. It's a story that's unfortunately been told too many times in the past. I don't know why you would feel good about snatching someone's life away in these circumstances, but here we go. Innocent black man sues after being brutalized by Pennsylvania police. So this is an attempt, and then you're going to hear about a lie after the fact and no justification for it. You're wrong. According to Atlanta Black star Wesley Eggleston II, was simply sitting in a car when 4 police officers dragged him out, brutalized him without any explanation. After it was revealed it was done in error, a police supervisor on the scene told a lie in order to justify it. Now, Eggleston is suing the 2 police departments involved. Hear, hear. The incident took place the morning of January 31st, 2024, as Eggleston was parked in front of a home to pick up a healthcare worker client to drive her home from her appointment, as he had done several times previously. 2 of the officers came towards his vehicle and stared at him, appearing hostile and aggressive to him, the claim states. As the officers continued to stare at Eggleston, he rolled down his window to ask whether there was a problem. And immediately, one of the officers asked him for his name. He calmly responded, "My name is Wesley." Now, the cops then began yelling at him to step out of the car. When Eggleston repeatedly asked why he had to step out, they refused to provide an explanation, instead demanding to know why he was at the location in the first place. So he explained. He's a businessman. He owned his own business, and that he was there to pick up his client for a scheduled 10:30 a.m. transport from the very house in front of where he was parked, the claim states. But the cops never asked for his identification, nor did they approach the residence to confirm with his client if he was telling the truth. Instead, the cops opened his doors without consent. They began forcing him out. At that moment, one officer pointed what appeared to Eggleston to be a firearm directly at his chest. When you make a mistake, you should just own it. And some mistakes are worse than other mistakes, but you should still own it and not double down on a lie. This next story is about doubling down on a lie, and now you're getting sued. Innocent black man sues after being brutalized by Pennsylvania police. Atlanta Black saw our friends there with the story. Wesley Eggleston II was simply sitting in a car when 4 police officers dragged him out of it and brutalized him. No explanation. After it was revealed it was done in error, a police supervisor on the scene told a lie in order to justify it. And now Eggleston is suing the 2 police departments involved. Let's tell you about the incident. It took place the morning of January 31st, 2024, as Eggleston was parked in front of a home to pick up a healthcare worker client to drive her home from her appointment, as he had done several times previously. 2 of the officers came towards his vehicle and stared at him, appearing hostile and aggressive to him, the claim states. As the officers continued to stare at Eggleston, he rolled down his window to ask whether there's a problem. Immediately, one of the officers asked him for his name. He calmly responded, "My name is Wesley." The cops then began yelling at him to step out of the car. When Eggleston repeatedly asked why he had to step out, they refused to provide an explanation, instead demanding to know why he was at the location in the first place. He explained he was a businessman. He owned his own business, and that he was there to pick up his client for a scheduled 10:30 a.m. transport from the very house in front of where he was parked, the claim states. But the cops never asked for his identification, nor did they approach the residence to confirm with his client if he was telling the truth. Instead, the cops opened his doors without consent and began forcing him out. At that moment, one officer pointed what appeared to Eggleston to be a firearm directly at his chest. Eggleston feared for his life, the claim states. Another officer then jumped onto Eggleston's neck and began choking him. In shock and fear, Eggleston attempted to comply and exit the vehicle. Once out of the car, the cops forced him to the ground. One of them tasered him in his lower back. Reacting to the extreme pain, Eggleston reached behind him, attempting to pull the taser wire from his body, the claim states. When he grabbed the wire, his hand immediately clamped shut due to the electrical current, and he was unable to release it. This caused additional and extreme pain throughout his body. Officers then handcuffed him, and while he was restrained on the ground, an officer who was on top of him punched him in the mouth, the claim states. He then drove his knee into his neck with such force that he could not breathe. While restrained, the officer scraped his face against the hard cement. Now, folks, if you're following along with the story, you ever just get up, you jump in the shower, you get ready for work, you leave, put your seatbelt on, I hope, and then you drive off to the job. And the next thing you know, you're being tasered. You've got a knee to the throat, and you can't unclutch your hand because of an electric current. And you have no idea why. Why are you doing this to me? Do they teach police at the academy not to communicate? Because I thought there was a course or 2 on de-escalation. I don't know. It's only after they had abused him, no explanation, that they asked for his identification, which he provided. But the supervisor then arrived and tried to gaslight him about trying to flee. That was a lie. According to a lawsuit filed January 16th in federal court, which states the 2 law enforcement agencies involved in this incident, Pennsylvania State Police and the Parksburg Police Department, routinely abuse citizens and ignore their complaints. Claim also states both law enforcement agencies have a history of not disciplining or terminating even the most egregious troopers and officers, allowing these violators to resign, keep their pensions. No action taken against these individuals. Lawsuit accuses both agencies of excessive force, unlawful seizure, failure to intervene, and civil conspiracy. Both departments have since refused to release the names of the officers involved in the beating to Eggleston's attorneys, which is why they are listed as John Does in the lawsuit. You got the nerve to wear a uniform, a badge, but you're protecting the unlawful. Also listed as defendants, along with the John Doe cops, are Parksburg Mayor John Hagan, Parksburg Police Chief Ryan Murtaugh. Feel your smile if he's the one in the middle. It's very peculiar to me, and I apologize, but it just throws me off. Former Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris. They're accused of supervisory liability for allowing their officers to violate the rights of the people they were sworn to protect and serve. So, people do bad things. That could actually be a period right there, because are we really going to argue? There's people, lone wolves, all kinds of things. People do bad things even when they're taught better. But Elliott, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about two departments who are accused, according to the lawsuit, of engaging in this kind of behavior again and again and protecting it, doubling down on it, conspiring to do more of it and to keep the truth from coming out, not protecting people, hurting an innocent man who has to sue just to get some semblance of justice. And I would guess, and this would just be me guessing, that once he filed this lawsuit, there probably were people behind the scenes trying to figure out how they can target him some more. What say you?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, this story is one of those that just gets worse and worse the more you read it. Like when you were first beginning, I was like, oh, that's pretty bad. And then I was like, oh, that's worse. Oh, that's even worse. So yeah, it's horrible to hear about. I think I feel like I need a shower now. And also, we have once again an example where there are people who are law enforcement officers who act unlawfully and then claim that actually it's the victim's fault. And gosh, if that doesn't sound kind of familiar based on the past few weeks. And then they whisk away the person or people who committed these alleged crimes and protect them and keep them from any kind of accountability. It's almost like this is a very widespread problem. And this is just another example of how far reaching it is. But who knows? What do I know?
Well, I think you know a lot. I think you know a lot. And I happen to agree with exactly what you said there. Okay. I just don't know what else to do, except let's do away with a mayor and a city council, perhaps, who are not going to hold officials accountable. See, often, well, I guess in all cases, you start on one side. You're a member of you're the people, right? And then you sign up to serve, and suddenly you become against the people. You and a couple of cronies get together and decide what you're going to tolerate as long as you're exempt from this kind of negative, impactful, dangerous, and even violent behavior. You decide that what's good for everybody else is one thing, but what you would tolerate is another. And that's where this lawlessness becomes this perpetual cycle. And I think people need to take to the streets, show up at city council meetings, demand accountability. But it's so entrenched, this deception, this wrongdoing, this protecting people who resign, keep their pension, and go on to terrorize people in other jurisdictions, that doesn't feel very hopeful sometimes. Again, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, and I think it further dispels the myth that, if you just do what law enforcement says and you just act calmly, then everything will be fine. This guy quite immediately said calmly what his name was. I have a feeling that might have had something to do with it. But it goes to show that, you can just be doing exactly what you're doing, behaving legally, and this type of thing can still happen, and they will, again, protect the perpetrator. So I think you're right. People should be protesting this, along with maybe a few other things going on right now.
Yeah, I can think of some solidarity protests that many of us would love to join in. Our friends in Minnesota, and then the next place, and before that, Chicago, and on and on and on. Let's move on to this one. Previous story was violent and unnecessary. This one's deadly. Husband fatally shot after pulling into a homeowner's driveway. Let's go to Memphis here. Sheila Booker, she's on the left there, says homeowner Tommy Applewhite fatally shot her husband moments after the couple pulled into a stranger's driveway in an attempt to evade a traffic ticket. Booker recalled the tragic moments when her husband, Rodriguez Poplar, was shot right in front of her. She said she and Poplar were driving through a residential neighborhood. That was January 9. Poplar spotted some blue police headlights ahead of them. Booker said her husband told her to pull into a driveway and wait because their car had expired tags and a broken headlight. Didn't want any trouble. As soon as she parked in the driveway, the homeowner came out of his house armed and demanded that they leave his property, Booker claims. So he pulled the gun in my face, and that's when my husband got out, trying to protect me. And that's when he shot my husband right in front of me, Booker told WHBQ. Because the police were nearby, they arrived at the scene in less than a minute. The police came so fast, Booker said. If it weren't for them, I think I'd be dead. They saved my life. That homeowner, Tommy Applewhite, was taken into custody and faces several charges, including second-degree murder. He reportedly told investigators he opened fire because he thought Poplar was bullying him. Applewhite has a criminal history dating back to 2001. It includes numerous gun and drug charges. He faced attempted murder charges in 2007 after he shot a man twice in the face at an apartment complex. The victim told police the shooting happened a week after he and Applewhite argued. Applewhite pleaded guilty to the charges. He was sentenced to serve 3 years in prison. That's it. At the time of Poplar's shooting death, Applewhite was on active probation after pleading guilty to a gun charge in 2022. Banning death. Violence. Booker has launched a GoFundMe to raise donations that will go toward her husband's burial expenses. Poplar's death has left Booker to raise 5 kids alone, all between the ages of 3 and 10. It's going to be a long road ahead. She said she plans to keep up with Applewhite's scheduled court appearances. What a failure. Decades of violence and unhinged behavior, delayed reactions even, things he's pled guilty to. And yet a man is dead. And I see competing issues here, Elliott. This guy should never have been out. And I don't know why a system kept adjudicating him for these violent acts and then allowing him, while actively on probation, to menace other people. I mean, 2007, 2022, okay? This is going on and on and on. But there's something else that sticks in my head. They pulled into the driveway to avoid the blue lights of police. So in this case, after the fact, Mrs. Booker says saved her life. I applaud them for the quickness they got there. But the reason the circumstances that landed them in that driveway don't escape me is because that fear of simply driving past blue light. You might could say, well, a lot of people would feel that way. You have expired tags, your headlight's broken, so you're going to make yourself a target. But as a Black person, what I can tell you driving is, when there's blue lights ahead, you better be perfect. And I don't know if white people driving have to feel that. In fact, I do know that most people driving who are not people of color probably don't think they have to be perfect every day. And that is something that, as I look at this story, which there is no good aspect, except they did save her life. I believe her. I'm just so disgusted by all of it. But maybe your perspective is a little more linear.
No, I would say, I'm definitely about as white as they get, and I don't have to drive around with that level of fear, especially, or even if I see blue lights in any capacity. It's a different type of experience, and I think your conjecture is probably right. Also, props where props are due. The police helped this woman. I also think what really helped her was the proximity that the police were from that location. I have my doubts as to whether or not, had that not been the case, that this situation would have turned out the same. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a horrible situation. I don't know why this guy, what got into this guy's head to do this. I think that right now we're in a state where collectively we're very much paranoid about our neighbors and we're very much paranoid about the people around us. This is an extreme example with obviously mitigating factors, but there's still something about it where it's like the fabric of this nation, I think, is a little frayed right now. When you hear stories like this, it's, I don't know what other reaction you can have besides just incredible sadness.
Yeah. I know this is probably not a popular position for some, right? Because there's a lot of people who support the Second Amendment, right? But if we have so many guns and we don't know what to do here, we need to take a step back, okay? Have your guns. But if we as a society clearly do not know what to do, because shooting deaths are among the highest kinds of deaths, we need to take a step back. It's like, when you're a child, you don't get certain privileges if your parents say, oh, Elliott, you're not being very responsible, so I got to dial it back until you show some growth. We'll never be able to take it away, but I'm just saying there's too many of them out there. This man, Mr. Popular, should be alive. He should be alive with his wife, contemplating when they're going to fix the headlight and get the tags that are expired rectified. No big deal, right? Except now 5 kids are without their father. She's a widow. And they're planning his burial with a GoFundMe. It just sucks, Elliott. And I don't know what got into him either, but I just always look for a way that this didn't have to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment, but I also live in California where there's a lot of regulations. And I personally don't have a problem with those regulations. And I think that the more we can track where these guns are actually located, the better.
Just want to track them. Have your guns. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. I'm Sharon Reed. Elliott Morgan is our special guest co-host today. Much more to come.
Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America.
So listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, Sharon Reed, Elliott Morgan here, sitting in for Doc. A beloved activist, Shirley Raines, passes away at the age of 58. Let's remember her.
How you doing, Queen?
Today, millions are mourning the loss of a beloved activist who helped nourish so many lives.
Hi, King. You want a snack, baby?
Shirley Raines, founder of the nonprofit Beauty to the Streets, has died at the age of 58. In a statement posted to social media, which did not reveal a cause of death, the organization said, quote, "She used her powerful media platform to amplify the voices of those in need and to bring dignity, resources, and hope to some of the most underserved populations. We shared her journey of overcoming the loss of her 2-year-old son in her early 20s while she was experiencing homelessness."
Life has given me the opportunity to not just sit with this pain for the rest of my life.
Since the announcement was made, her loyal following has been sharing both their shock and admiration online. One writing, "I just can't believe this," and another saying, "Your job here on Earth is done, Queen. You're reunited with your baby boy again. We love you." And Grammy-winning recording artist Lizzo, who says she donated clothes to Miss Shirley's efforts, shared an emotional message on Instagram.
She overserved the underserved, and she helped the marginalized feel important.
A lot of people shedding tears today. She was loved, really inspired so many people. ABC News with that reporting there on her incredible life. And let's tell you more, because more details are emerging about the death of Shirley Raines as communities grieve the loss of the advocate and Beauty to the Streets founder known as Miss Shirley. Raines' twin sister Sheila shared more insight into the beloved community leader's cause of death. In a conversation with People magazine, Sheila revealed that when Shirley's youngest daughter could not reach her mother after multiple phone calls January 27th, she drove to her mother's home, where she waited and waited. After multiple attempts to get in contact with Shirley, her daughter reportedly threw rocks at her mother's window in an attempt to get a response. Agree with some of these details here. Her growing concern ultimately prompted her to call local police to conduct a wellness check, where authorities found the Beauty to the Streets founder and CEO unresponsive on the side of her bed. Noting that there were no visible signs that could explain Shirley's death, Sheila told the outlet that the family is in shock. Ms. Shirley's death was announced in a statement posted to the Beauty to the Streets social media accounts, leaving the advocate's thousands of followers in disbelief. It is with profound sorrow and heavy hearts that the Beauty to the Streets announces the passing of our beloved CEO and founder, Shirley Raines, affectionately known to so many as Ms. Shirley. Through her tireless advocacy, deep compassion, unwavering commitment, she used her powerful media platform to amplify the voices of those in need and to bring dignity, resources, and hope to some of the most underserved populations. Ms. Shirley dedicated her life to others. The mother of 6 gained over 6 million TikTok followers by sharing videos of her interactions with the unhoused community with her organization, Beauty to the Street. On a mission to provide self-worth, restoring services like hair, makeup, hygiene, food to those who need it most, social media users fell in love with the care and compassion Raines consistently displayed. You know, I loved her too, Elliott, and one of the things that I loved about her was how she broke through on social media. This wasn't about selfies and image. This is a woman who, well, number one, lived it. Her own story inspired her activism. But she still remembered that people needed to feel beautiful, look beautiful, smell beautiful in order to have some sense of self. And I think the way that she attacked that unapologetically is something else that she should be honored for. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. As a beautiful person, I also think that the work she's doing, as you said, when you do that kind of thing, you're giving people back their dignity, which can go a real long way. Sometimes even, I think, longer than just simply giving them a meal. When you can see yourself in a different light, I think that has a positive effect throughout people's entire existences. So rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Ms. Shirley. And I want to say thank you to Indisputable, TYT, and Doc, because Every day we're turning on a horror show and watching rights being taken away, people being shot in the side of the head, point blank range, even though they have a concealed carry and they've never pulled a weapon. There's so much horror going on that this is a highlight that there's so much more good that's out there. And I pray that people hold on to her memory and continue her mission. Tell people where they can find your great work, Elliott.
Oh, you can find me over at youtube.com/rebelhq or substack.com/Elliott Morgan or x.com/Elliott C. Morgan, where I'm making fun of right-wing media people just as a hobby. So thank you for having me, Sharon.
It's a great hobby, and you're so good at it too. You're just the best. This is indisputable. Thanks, Doc, again for letting us try to fill your void. And we hope to see you again.